Wow. Hey everybody. Pretty cool Tennocon, right? Like, just all around. The cosplay contest was really cool. I deadass thought that the Octavia proto-frame could, like, could clutch the whole thing. Because that was, like, a really... Dude, like, the fact that, like, 1999 Octavia proto-frame, they've got, like, the drummer hat going on, and, like, all, like, the band stickers, like, an actual, like, amp, just, like, decked out, and, like, different, you know... different stickers and swag, and then the fact that, like, apparently the stickers, like, work, and, like, the, you know, the diegetic, like, era-appropriate Sony Discman on the arm has a custom CD burned into it that connects to the speakers and plays music. That was just, like, it couldn't be topped for me. Although the Lotus, like, you know, beat it up, like, very, shiny Lotus that won first place, that was also one of my favorites, so, like, that was pretty cool. Ooh, also the Ivara proto-frame with the frogs, that was awesome. Tenno concert, sick as hell. I'm still kind of in awe of the cube, and I'm just, like, thinking about how, you know, the art form of stagecraft is something that probably eclipses the lifetime of video games, like, several times over, and it just, you know, it's interesting to think, well, hey, now they're coming together, and this is, like, probably my first experience of something like this before. Those people were athletic as hell. Props to them for doing all that, and also not falling, because that would have really ruined the vibes of Tennocon, I think. Now, Tennocon Day 2, like, the actual presentations proper, I'm just gonna go through this whole thing chronologically. Soulframe? Dude, I think I really gotta pick up Soulframe. Like, at this point, I was in the Soulframe, like, early testing phases, like, way back when, and my thoughts were kind of just like, you know, the world is cool, the setting is really awesome, the combat didn't do it for me, because the combat was just Warframe's combat, but slower, and with less enemies to, like, mow through. And well, you can check out my video on Melee, in Warframe. That's kind of like, you know, it doesn't work. It doesn't work when you take Warframe's combat and slow it down, but it looks like with Soulframe they've been actually making strides to make the whole melee system a whole lot more Soulsian, if that's, like, a real word. And I think, like I said, I think it's about time I, you know, hop on that and start checking it out, because things being as they are in the current world, I could definitely use some, like, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind vibes while I'm trying to, you know, avoid eating produce for the next several weeks. Oh, dude, Shockwave, Amir's, like, D&D Nightwave. First of all, dude, we're getting a new Nightwave season that's not just Nora's mix. Like, who expected that? Not me. I thought DE gave up on that. I thought they thought we forgot, and therefore they stopped doing it. But, like, we're getting another, like, bespoke Nightwave season for the first time in forever. I kind of understand why DE might be hesitant to do, like, these kind of, you know, new limited time Nightwave seasons, because it's like, it's new content in Warframe, right, that theoretically happens and then goes away, and the players who didn't play it, just, you can't play it, and that's, like, it kind of runs antithetical to Warframe's anti-FOMO vibes. But, I mean, as shown through the previous seasons of Nightwave and this one here, it does so much. It's such a cool way to further flesh out what is going on in the Warframe universe and give older characters a chance to, like, you know, have something cool. And, like, dude, the art, like, the D&D inspired, like, bits that all the Hex have going on is just so cool. It's legit everything I wanted from a future Nightwave, and there's, like, cool looking rewards and stuff. I mean, if anything, I'm really excited to see what kind of weapon specific augments are showing up, or even, like, dude, even a unique weapon for the Nightwave, because, I mean, that's what we had with the first 3 seasons, right? With the Wolf Sledge, the Vitrica, and the was it the Pathicist, the glaive that shoots maggots out? It's like, we could get another Nightwave exclusive weapon. Maybe a melee weapon, maybe, like, a sword, like a cool, like, fantasy blade, or honestly, whatever. I am here for it. And yeah, you know, I hope this isn't a one-off thing. Like, I don't know, like, after this we're probably gonna get, like, a Nightwave intermission, right? That's kind of how they play it. But then, like, yeah, come on, dude, throw me a bone here. Tie like a new Nightwave season to a new update or something, and it can be like an event with like more stuff and things going on. I don't know. I'm just kind of talking randomly. I'm just spitting here. But yeah, really hope that we see more kind of stuff like this in the future with future Nightwave seasons that touches on, I don't know, maybe the Devil's Triad, maybe the Round Table. I've been missing the Round Table, I'll be so completely honest with you. Like, I mean, Kaya got shot into the future, and there's like nothing going on with that. Spoilers, by the way, for the years-old update at this point. My fault. Moving on. Ben Starr. I just have a Ben Starr, like, bullet point here. The voice actors panel was really cool. It was cool seeing, like, these, you know, these people, it was Ben Starr and... There were multiples, but yeah, it was Ben Starr and Renee Zellweger who kind of took center stage, and it was really cool, kind of just seeing them talk shop about what they got going on. But going back to Ben Starr, you know, I'm starting to think that maybe that guy won't do anything for money. I'm starting to think maybe he's around here in Warframe and he's so enthusiastic because maybe, just maybe, he actually, like, cares a lot about what he does and takes pride in his work or something. I don't know. Just a thought. See you in the new Nightwave season, buddy. Ice Blade of Naren, right? I kind of love how we get this this longer insight now into the Warframe dev cycle, where not only do we get, like, you know, oh, here's the next big update, here's Tau and all this stuff going on, but we also get, like, hey, before Tau, here's the thing to tide you over. Ice Blade of Naren. One new ice Warframe, Naren, who I assume probably has some kind of ice blade. It seems like a safe guess to make. We have zero idea. We have zero idea what it all includes, right? I mean, other than what, Citrium Prime? Oh boy, howdy, dude, Citrium Prime. That is going to be a insane mixed bag of a prime drop. I can already tell, right? Like, Corufel Prime, pretty cool. I like the Corufel. I'm kind of a shooter for the Corufel. But the other one, Stephalos Prime, that thing better get like an alternate fire where it causes an orbital strike to, like, glass half the map or something, man. Because, like, the original Stephalos, it looks so cool and it has a really fun mechanic, but it gets mogged. It gets absolutely mogged by the Archiplasmor, the Codabasicist now. Basically any weapon that, like, you know, has punch through, it just kind of is, you know, it's a worse option. It's the would you rather have $1 or $2 meme, but it's like, would you rather have $1, which is like any variant on the Archiplasmor type weapon, or -$1, and it's the Stephalos. What else? Ooh, Corvex Deluxe. Corvex Deluxe seems pretty cool. Gargoyle-y. I really like the base design of Corvex, but that's just because I'm a sucker for brutalist architecture. Oh my god, dude. Banshee rework. Can you believe Banshee rework was in the cards? I mean, I kind of assumed like Limbo rework, right? Like, I was assuming, like, you've got to be like a Limbo rework. I don't know why. I think I've just built this habit of, like, whenever I talk about something in Warframe, it gets changed very soon after by the dev team. But it was Banshee. It was a Banshee Deluxe skin, for one. And, like, after they revealed that, I was like, oh, so that's coming with a rework, right? I thought it could have been, like, a retouch. No, full-on Banshee rework. And it's like what Pablo said, right? Banshee is able to have some, like, really insane setups with both silence, you know, turning off enemy Xmas abilities and, like, stunning enemies momentarily, and then sonar, being able to literally cause any weapon to deal damage cap. But that's two abilities on a Warframe that's supposed to be about sound, and she doesn't really do much sound or reverberation. So I'm here for the rework that makes that kind of, you know, that damage a bit more normal, a bit more mainstream. And also gives her other abilities something cool to do as well, because there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential in a Sonics / like sound-based Warframe. But yeah, Limbo rework soon, maybe, and like now, right? Now we get to the actual Tenno Live. Now we get to the whole thing. And like, brother, they started off strong. They started off swinging. I mean, of course, there was the you know, more Soulframe stuff, that section. And honestly, some people in my Twitch chat, in my live Twitch chat, were kind of, you know, kind of like a bit apprehensive about the Soulframe stuff. But I don't know. Let Soulframe cook. Let Soulframe be at the party, because that is Steve and Jeff's like love child right there. That is a, you know, that is a passion project, and that is a game that is being designed without like any restrictions or like, you know, intention of being like, this is a game that needs to make money. It is a like such a fascinating like game and piece of development, and I'm so excited to see where it goes. So I think it can have a spotlight at Tennocon for as long as it likes. But getting onto the actual, you know, Warframe content, like oh my god, they started off so strong with the like that scene of the Lotus during a sentient attack on Lua, and like Ballas was there, and he was, you know, the guy who's dead, the guy who died like years ago, still haunting the narrative like a freaking G. I love that. But then like when Lotus walks into that room and blows up like 7 billion sentients, and then like drags Lua into the void, and then dude, and then like the man in the wall shows up, and you're like, oh my god, this is like this is why the man in the wall also wants the Lotus in addition to the operator, because like the Lotus made a deal with the man in the wall so she didn't die, but she could also save her children. It's like the same deal. It was like the same kind of deal that the man in the wall made with the operator, right? Like, you can save all of them, maybe even yourself. Just shake my hand. But then it turns into some like Faustian bargain where like they split, and like that's a whole can of worms that I'm realizing right now, right? Could we have like some kind of drifterified Lotus sitting around somewhere, and then like the baby Lotus, when like Drifter shows up and he's like, hey, man of the wall, don't do that, don't hurt the Lotus because we need her. And then like he turns around and he literally has her in his hands as like a little like baby, and like that was really cute. I can't wait for the Lotus to be turned into a marketable plushie. It's time travel, right? I think it's time travel. I know that like my thoughts on Jade Shadow's Constellations were like, dude, is that time travel? Dude, is this freaking time travel? But like, think about it, right? Because it's quite literally the Drifter showing up at the destruction of Lua in order to stop the indifference from claiming the Lotus. And it happened in the Dark Refractory, so we don't really know. But like, if the Dark Refractory is just your memories, is the man in the wall attempting to get into the Lotus's memories during the Dark Refractory? We just don't know. We just don't know. But there's so many moving parts, man. Warframe is a lore writer's dream and also a lore understander's nightmare. It's not like, you know, Soulsborne bad, but I do actually appreciate just the sheer like amount of interpretation this game's plot is up to, while also being interesting and engaging. Enough beating around the bush, right? Tau. We're going to Tau. We're finally going to Tau. And what do we use to get to Tau? The Railjack. Cephalon Sai is there. He says, get the fuck in, Tenno. We are going to the new system. Brother, I am so excited. Like, we're taking the Railjack to Tau. We're taking the Railjack to Tau. It's gotta be in use. We gotta be using the Railjack for something. Do we use the Railjack in the form of like an open space, like, you know, fly from space to space, like a Star Citizen, Elite Dangerous, original Dark Sector kind of thing? I don't know. What's the purpose of the giant man, the vessel? I don't know. We're able to color it. We're able to paint it, right? Does that mean something? Are we getting another like moddable like extra thing? Am I gonna have to mod out my vessel as well? What would you even use a vessel for, right? It's so freaking big. Is it like a Doom the Dark Ages like mech section? We just don't know. We really just don't know. But I choose to be bold. I choose to say that in addition to the Railjack being of primary use in the Tau system, I think that also means we'll get more Railjack game modes. Yep. More Railjack game modes, more Railjack loot. It'll be great. All the Railjack players will rejoice. They will jump up and down and they will cheer. And for predicting this, they will crowd surf me over their shoulders. Anyways, yeah, back to reality. It is interesting because like I don't know why I had it in my head. I thought Tau was, like, barren. I thought Tau was destroyed after, like, the events of the old peace, right? Because the Orokin burned the bloom. What's it called? The Truth Bloom? It's not called the Peace Bloom. The Xenoflora, the blue flowers. The Orokin just, like, torched that. And that was the thing that gave the sentience, well, sentience? So I kind of assumed that, like, when we got back to Tau, it would be, like, a barren wasteland. Clearly not the case, because, look outside, it's Blade Runner. It's actually, like, it's Blade Runner now, which is, honestly, didn't expect it, so freaking cool. Like, just all these different, like, sentients, like, living a life. Like, unlike the sentients in the Origin system, which do seem to just be drones, they've somehow managed to cling onto that sentience, and they've reinvented late-stage capitalism in a cyberpunk dystopia, which, I mean, well, we can't really judge them, can we? I think the Orokin Empire ended up a whole lot worse than whatever the Hunra has going on. And like, oh my god, dude, the Hunra, Adis, my goat Adis is alive, and he turned into the Kingpin, and he kills people now? I want to see how that happens. Also want to see how that, like, resolves, because that's going to be, like, crazy. Briscoe, of course. Briscoe, you can't forget about Briscoe, dude. Matthew Mercer voiced sentient Warframe hybrid. Not like Caliban, somehow. Not like Caliban, not like Revenant. Like a living... I don't understand. I don't understand how Briscoe is different from Caliban. I'm sure we'll have it explained to us at some point, right? Because they're both sentient Warframe hybrids, but Briscoe, of course, is alive. Alive, sentient, sapient on his own, and he has an internal monologue as a gumshoe detective voiced by Matt Mercer. Which, freaking fire, by the way. His kit looks cool. Having the Detective Abrams, like, snub-nosed revolver that, like, apparently, like, on weak point kill or something causes, like, an orb to float in the air that then, like, shoots other enemies. And, like, the fan the hammer that shoots, like, homing projectiles. So freaking cool, dude. I'm so excited that I finally got my Arcane Hotshot maxed out, because we will be putting that on that Frame 1. The cards are also cool, excited to see how that works. Briscoe definitely had a thing with that lounge singer, right? Like, absolutely had a thing with that lounge singer. Did you see how she, like, waved her, like, finger at him? Like, come on, come over here, come over here, Frame Boy. Let me see that. And I guess also cards. Card gaming casinos. Will we be able to play this against other players? I sure hope so. I hope we're able to play this against other players, and I'll even be bolder. We should be able to play this against other players, and you put, like, trade items on the line. Like, let me play high-stakes cards against someone at my dojo with, like, a full-on Steinax Prime set on the line. I think that would be really funny, and definitely not, you know, a terrible idea that would end in disaster at all. But, yeah, I mean, going back to Tau again, like, the art style is so interesting, because it's clearly a city, but it stays entirely with that sentient kind of design ethos. And it's time travel again. I feel like, well, it's not time travel. We don't know if it's time travel, but I feel like I gotta bring it up, right? I gotta shoot my shot, because, like, dude, imagine, like, I don't know, like, it could be in the past, it could be in the future. Albert Contratti's been here for a long time. That's evident by his, you know, messed up condition, grafting sentient parts onto himself, his old wizard beard. Like, what did that happen? Like, I mean, 1999 happened, of course, in 1999, but the events that led the operator and everyone back to 1999 couldn't have happened that long ago, right? Like, not long ago enough for Entrati to end up in Tau, unless this is the future version of Entrati, who's been in Tau for a long time, and the Tenno are gonna, like, figure out how to make it to Tau, and maybe this dark future that Vina and Ryoku were so scared of is some kind of dark future where the sentients return to the Origin system and, you know, declare war on it, and then take that, like, those resources back to Tau. They figure themselves out. Maybe. It's a long shot, but maybe. Fornax just seems like such a crazy, like, departure from current Warframe that, like, because, like, most of Warframe's current galaxy, right, it's Star Wars. It's sci-fi post-apocalypse. We are in the ruins of the High Empire, everyone's trying to put things back together. You don't really get Cyberpunk City in Star Wars. I mean, you do in like the newer modern stuff, but like it's not really, it doesn't like match the vibe. You dig? I don't know. There's just not enough. There's not enough stuff to make a concrete conclusion on. All you can really do is just take shots in the dark, and that's what I'm doing. And now the the green and red elephant in the room, right? They did not, they didn't directly follow up on Jade Shadow's Constellations, right? Not at Tennocon. I will admit, I was probably a little bold and forgot how Tennocon worked, assuming that like, oh yeah, when Tennocon pops around, we'll see, you know, a cinematic picking up right where we left off with Vina and Ryoku and Hun Hao in Pontus Tower, and then that'll explain everything, because we didn't. They're barely mentioned at all, except for like, you know, a little bit in the, you know, writing and stuff panels. But speaking of the writing and stuff panels, I wanted to say that even though we didn't get any like immediate payoff on Jade Shadow's Constellations, I'm still keeping faith. I'm still choosing to hold fast to my beliefs that like this wasn't for nothing. It is setting up something further down the line. It's a prelude. It's a prelude to something. And I think we know that. I think, or at least we can infer that because Rebecca Ford, definitely Rebecca Ford on stage talked about how she had a 5-year plan as the creative director, kind of like starting with post New War and like ending at Tau. And also was talking about how that 5-year plan got extended a little bit. So I feel like we haven't seen the last of these characters. We definitely have not seen the last of the Doomed Future, and I really hope that means we haven't seen the last of Ryoku and Vina, because, I mean, well, they're a part of the Warframe verse now, which, you know, means that now they are part of a large cadre of characters who I think everyone would love to learn more about and hear more about their backstory in general. And like I said, we've seen snippets of Tau. We've seen the city. What's the city called again? Fornax. We've seen Fornax. We've been presented like clips, bits and pieces. We've seen the Drifter invading the Lotus's brain in the Dark Refractory. We've seen events on Tau with Briscoe. We haven't seen anything about how our operator and everyone will get to Tau in the first place. So like time travel could play a part. Hun Hao in his current state could play some kind of part. I don't think Ryoku and Vina will show up and be like, yeah, come on, Tenno, let's go to Tau together. But I feel like there's something there. I feel like there's still something there that could allude to it. Because, dude, time travel, that's how Ryoku and Vina reached us. That's how they reached us with their railjacks. One of the lines that Vina has in Pontiff Tower kind of confirms that. There was I've noticed like two things of time travel symbolism or like analogy in the like the Tennocon things. One, Adrian bought his like, you know, his little video call in. He was sitting in front of one thing, and it was a Doctor Who poster. He was sitting in front of a Doctor Who poster during that. Doctor Who, I'll admit, haven't watched much of it, but I do know that it involves, you know, time travel, going to different places and things, different places, times, and that whole shebang. And then during the Narrative of Warframe panel, Corey was just straight up wearing the Future Trunks jacket. You know, Future Trunks, the guy who in the Dragon Ball came back from a doomed future, if you will, to like seek aid from the Z Fighters and then yada yada. I'm telling you, it means something, man. It means something. I'm not crazy. It could be. I could be. I'll admit, I'm perfectly fine with this all being insane cope, but it could also be the most, like, clutch called shot of my entire Warframe career, and I'm okay making that, because honestly, if it doesn't end up being the case, I really don't think I have much further to sink anyways in terms of predictions. Basically, everything I've talked about on this Warframe channel gets outdated sooner rather than later. But I think that's, like, it. In conclusion, I think this was a really exciting Tennocon. It's not as good as 1999. I think DE would be hard-pressed to have a Tennocon reveal that sets the internet on fire to the extent that, like, you know, 1999 does. I was, like, electric. I was electric in my room after that reveal happened and Arthur showed up, and then like, you had the 9-inch nails and bam, 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 bam. It's just, like, cannot be topped. But I think Tau does come in second. Like, it kind of, I think it barely ekes out just the insanity of, like, the first reveal of Tau in the old piece. Because that left you with a lot of questions, the old piece. Like, how are we here? This happened? Did this happen? Is this in the future or the past? This, what happens in Tau, I think, is somehow a lot more grounded, even though we don't really know, like, how we're getting to Tau in the first place. But it, like, it's linear, it makes sense, and just, like, the sheer, like, creativity involved in making a cyberpunk dystopia sentient city and having the, like, POV character be a Warframe gumshoe detective voiced by Matt Mercer is, like, that's hype. That's really hype and exciting, and I'm so fascinated to see, like, where we go from this. What do we do in Tau? Oh, also, I think they said somewhere in, like, maybe it was the Tenno Live or, like, some other panel, they have 2 worlds planned for the launch of Tau. Two worlds, or 2 areas. So Fornax, counting Fornax as, like, an entire planet, right? Which it could be an entire planet, it could be like an open world like the Plains of Eidolon. We just don't know. Either way, there's at least one other, like, place, like, zone that we haven't seen yet. And is that just, is it an open world? Is it a normal star chart mission? Is it a Proxima? Is it Elite Dangerous mode? Are we finally, is the Railjack finally becoming like a mobile RV? We just don't know. We just don't know. And I know that I meme on it a lot, right? I meme a lot about being like, oh dude, this finally means more Railjack, but this will be a shocker, guys. I care about other parts of Warframe too, and I'm just excited to see, like, new gameplay of all sorts. New mission types, new areas, new zones, just new objectives, anything. Mix up the formula. Show me what a reimagining or, like, a creating of a new star chart in 2026 is capable of, with all the knowledge and, like, gameplay chops we have at our disposal now. And I just wanted to say that it's always been really fun to be able to just, like, you know, sit down in front of a Twitch chat, shout out, but just, like, to sit down for a day and just see and hear the people who have made this game that I love so dearly just kind of talk shop for a few hours, both, and I mean, this is as someone who, you know, plays the game, right? Of course I love hearing about my favorite game of all time, but also as a creative myself, someone who likes to make things and, you know, is always interested in finding out how I can make more things or where to find inspiration from. It is super inspiring seeing all these people talk about their craft and how Warframe as a whole, as a creative project, has grown over the years while keeping that heart and soul of creativity within itself alive. I mean, Warframe's been, you know, it's chugging along strong, and, well, you know, let me just say that I'm excited to be able to sit here in a year and talk to you guys about how Tennocon 2027 went, because, boy howdy, you don't get to enjoy that with a lot of games nowadays, do you? Assurances that it'll still be around in a year. And, well, let's just say this. If we don't get more Railjack by next year, I'll do this next, you know, Zach summarizes his thoughts on the latest Tennocon wearing a clown outfit. So, lock it in and we'll see what happens. Alright, cue the credits. Thank you to all my supporters for helping to make videos like this possible, and a special shout out to my Zeta tier supporters, Lunalaris Sun, The Duckler, Ryuku2, and Lilith Lilligant.